Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to drop your thoughts and the lessons you take from it in the comments below. And make sure to like and subscribe for more. Let's begin. It was a rainy Thursday night in Charleston, the streets glistening under the amber streetlights, puddles forming along the sidewalks. Elijah Brooks stood outside the Mariner's Table, the restaurant he'd built from nothing but sweat, sleepless nights, and stubborn dreams. The restaurant was buzzing inside, its windows glowing warmly against the rain. Elijah wore a simple charcoal suit, his tie loosened from hours of hosting a private event for a charity group. He stood there watching through the glass. Near the entrance, his wife, Lena, sat with her friends, elegant women draped in silk and designer jewelry, their laughter ringing out above the clinking glasses. They were scrolling on their phones, their manicured nails tapping like distant thunder. Elijah caught sight of himself in the reflection, 37, broad-shouldered but worn down. His eyes were tired, the lines deeper than they used to be. He looked more like the bouncer than the owner. As he approached the door, one of Lena's friends, Callie, intercepted him with a tight, knowing smile. "Let's not ruin her night, Eli," she whispered smoothly, blocking his way. "She doesn't want any drama tonight." Behind her, Lena's gaze darted away, looking at everything but him. There was something faint in her expression, relief. Elijah's heart thudded painfully in his chest as the rain grew heavier, soaking through his shirt, cold and sharp on his skin. Without another word, he turned and walked away, their laughter following him like an echo down the street. He wandered 2 blocks before slipping into a quiet alleyway to catch his breath. He met Lena back when they had nothing but borrowed time and shared hunger. She was working at a community literacy program, idealistic, full of heart. He was grinding away at odd jobs, working nights as a line cook, dreaming of opening a place where people felt like they belonged. They'd lived together in a cramped apartment above a laundromat, scraping by on instant noodles and pocket change. But together they climbed. Lena eventually became a senior consultant at a prestigious PR firm. Elijah opened the Mariner's Table. They loved telling their rags to riches story over wine, laughing about the hard days. For a while it was beautiful. Lena had decorated the restaurant's front room herself, bringing her friends to show off her husband's cooking, proudly calling him a culinary genius. But success reshaped her world. Her new circles wore diamonds and traveled first class. Suddenly, Elijah's strong, flour-dusted hands didn't fit in her world of boardrooms and lavish galas. The distance started with little things. She stopped inviting him to work events, kept her phone face down, started taking private calls in another room. Elijah kept trying to bridge the gap. Flowers delivered to her office, surprise lunches, a getaway to Asheville for her birthday. But her gratitude felt empty, distracted. "I think I've outgrown our story," she murmured once, after one too many glasses of wine. The words haunted him long after she fell asleep. He noticed the shift. Her friends stopped hiding their condescension. During dinners, they'd ask pointed questions masked as polite conversation. "You ever think about franchising?" one asked with a sharp smile. "Or are you happy just playing it safe?" Lena no longer defended him. She laughed, shrugged, moved the conversation elsewhere. Soon, she grew close to her boss, Andrea, and a flashy tech investor named Marcus Rivers. Polished, rich, magnetic. Elijah saw them together more than once, always just business. Always with a door slightly ajar, her laughter spilling through alongside Marcus's deep voice. "He's just a partner," Lena said dismissively. "Don't be jealous. This is how the world works." But Elijah wasn't part of that world. Late one stormy night, as thunder rolled outside, Elijah couldn't sleep. He sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through old photos, Lena laughing at their restaurant's grand opening, wrapped around him, radiant. He missed her more than words could explain. The next morning, Lena was gone before sunrise. A text pinged. "Breakfast meeting. Don't wait up." Elijah made coffee, then drove to the restaurant. He found his staff clustered in the kitchen, whispering, "Boss, You need to see this, said Dana, his sous chef, handing him her phone. There on social media was the photo, Lena and Marcus together at an exclusive rooftop bar. Her hand rested on his knee. The caption read, "Charleston's next power couple." The comments were worse. Inside jokes, heart emojis, friends cheering them on. No one even mentioned Elijah. For days, Elijah moved like a ghost. He ran inventory, checked deliveries, scrubbed counters, but his body worked on autopilot. He didn't confront Lena. Not yet. Instead, he watched quietly. She came home later and later, smelling of expensive wine and unfamiliar cologne. When he reached for her, she pulled away. "Don't start, Eli. I'm exhausted." One night, he cooked her favorite meal, creamy shrimp and grits, but she barely touched her plate, scrolling her phone the whole time. After she left the table, Elijah gathered the plates, his hands shaking. Everything came to a head on the restaurant's 3rd anniversary. Elijah had planned a modest celebration for close friends and staff. Lena arrived 2 hours late, draped in silver, Marcus on her arm. Silence swept the room. Elijah's chest tightened, but he forced a polite smile. Lena kissed him on the cheek, a cold, performative gesture. "This is Marcus," she announced coolly. "A supporter of the arts, and a dear friend." When Dana toasted Elijah's dedication, Lena barely clapped. Her eyes were locked on Marcus, who checked his watch and murmured in her ear. After the event, Elijah pulled her aside. "Can we talk?" His voice was low, breaking. She glanced toward Marcus. "Now's not the time." "Why?" Elijah pressed, bitter anger creeping in. "Because you care more about appearances." She winced but kept her poise. "You still don't get it. My life, this life, is bigger than you and your little restaurant." Those words sliced him open. Marcus placed a hand on her back. "We're leaving," Lena said flatly, walking out with him. Weeks later, Lena moved out. She took everything: the expensive dishes, the paintings, even the tiny bonsai they once tended together. Elijah didn't stop her. He simply stood there, watching her load up Marcus's car with the remnants of their life. Time passed. Lena's face was everywhere. On magazine covers, at high-profile charity events, her name paired with Marcus's in every headline. Elijah kept his head down. He stopped going to social functions, ignored texts from mutual friends, and poured himself into the restaurant. He stopped checking her social media. Dana urged him to fight for himself. "You are this place," she told him firmly. "Don't let anyone write you off." One evening, Elijah received an invitation: Lena and Marcus's engagement gala. He almost trashed it, but something stopped him. That night, he called his mother. "You don't always have to fight, son," she said. "Sometimes you just let people show you who they are." The night of the gala, Elijah arrived in a sharp black suit, polished shoes, and an unshakable calm. Lena spotted him first, stiffening. "Elijah," she said with a forced smile. "I didn't expect you." "I wouldn't miss it," he replied evenly. Marcus approached, smug. "Glad you could make it, man. No hard feelings, right?" Elijah smiled faintly. "None at all. Congratulations." Throughout the night, Elijah kept to himself, but quietly reconnected with old contacts. He charmed investors, caught up with the hotel's manager, and even discussed future projects. By the end of the evening, opportunity was knocking again. Weeks turned into months. Elijah consulted on new kitchens, hosted charity dinners, and began teaching cooking classes for at-risk teens. Reviews raved about the Mariner's table again. He no longer cared about Lena's world. Then, one rainy evening, Lena showed up at the restaurant, drenched, fragile. "Can we talk?" she asked. Inside the empty dining room, her voice broke. "I thought I wanted more," she confessed. "But it's all hollow. The parties, the headlines. Marcus controls everything." She glanced around the room wistfully. "I miss this," she whispered. "I miss us." Elijah's heart ached, but he stayed composed. "Why are you here, Lena?" She swallowed hard. "To tell you. I made a mistake." He nodded slowly, but his voice was steady. "We both made mistakes. But I'm not that man anymore." Her tears spilled. "I thought I was moving up. I just lost myself." She left quietly. Her life unraveled soon after. The engagement ended amid scandal, affairs, lawsuits, failed deals. She lost clients, her reputation in shambles. One day she showed up again, resume in hand, asking for any job. Elijah listened, then gently shook his head. "This place is about family," he said. "You taught me that once. You'll find your way, but it's not here." Years passed. Elijah expanded the restaurant, opened a second location, and even started dating again. The city that once felt too big had become his community. He and Lena occasionally crossed paths. Polite nods, nothing more. One spring evening, she approached him at a fundraiser, offering a soft, sincere apology. "Thank you," she said, "for showing me what love really was. Even if I didn't see it back then." Elijah smiled, no bitterness left in his heart. "We all get lost sometimes," he said. "But what matters is what we build after." They parted peacefully, both changed. On a rainy afternoon, Elijah sat in the restaurant, watching the sunlight finally break through the clouds. He remembered the heartache, the betrayal, the long, lonely nights. But he also remembered the laughter, the small victories, and the strength it took to rebuild. And as the staff laughed in the kitchen and the restaurant buzzed with life, Elijah smiled. He had never been anyone's side note. He had built something no one could take away, a legacy of resilience, heart, and unwavering truth. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and share it with others who need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story.